Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? I'm just taking some time this morning on this beautiful Saturday. It's going to be another hot day up here in northwest Oklahoma. Supposed to be in the hundreds again today. That's typical for this time of year, so we can't complain. We got to take the good with the bad and kind of go from there. You know, that kind of brings to mind an old saying: we got to take the good with the bad. And when we take with the bad, you never know what is actually going to come down the pike that we have to take. So sometimes things are pretty rough. Sometimes things are good, but it's just one of those things. It is just one of those things. You got to take the good with the bad and try to do the best you can with it and then go from there. You know, as we sit here today on this Saturday, we can ask ourselves a lot of questions about what's happening out here in the world. And everything is not as it seems. Everything is not as it seems. I've had a lot of interesting conversations here the last couple of days, and trust me, everything is not as it seems. You know, people have this misinformation, misnomer that Black Lives Matter is strictly right here in the United States. Well, it's not, ladies and gentlemen. I had a phone call with a very good friend of mine from Australia. He called me and we got to visiting about a whole lot of things. And one thing he told me, he said, I'm going to let you know something. Black Lives Matter is in Australia trying to create problems. They are turning the Aborigines, the native Australians, against everybody. They are doing some serious agitating, trying to create some serious issues. There has been a lot of problems over there. Everything seems, though, no matter what it seems like in every aspect of our life, we try to do things right. We try to live our life the best way we can. We work our butts in the ground, even if we have to put in some seriously long hours. We try to do things right. We try to communicate with people right, which sometimes gets twisted up. We have communication problems. We try to act right around people, and sometimes we have problems doing that. We try to do anything to interact with people the right way, whether it be on social media, be in person, be on the telephone, on video, whatever. Sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad. Sometimes the whole meaning of things can be lost. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now, that's one thing we're seeing. We're seeing a whole lot of things that's being lost by the way things are communicated, the way things are transpiring, the way things are being put out to everybody. You know, working out where I do, I'm away from all the nonsense. I really am. And that's a great thing. I'm away from the nonsense. I don't have to put up with it. A lot of you folks are living in places where these problems exist today. You have people out there burning, tearing things down, destroying things, destroying businesses and everything. You know, and it's a shame. It really is a shame. But that's one thing I'm thankful for, is because I'm out here and I don't have to tolerate it. And one thing is, too, Black Lives Matter came to Woodward, Oklahoma, and they found out just what people in northwest Oklahoma are proud of. Black Lives Matter came to Woodward, Oklahoma the other day, Tuesday actually, and at 2:30 p.m. when everybody was supposed to be working, they decided they was going to do a peaceful march. Well, they did a peaceful march. They did a march from what's called Centennial Park all the way to the courthouse, which is probably half a mile long. But one thing they did not expect is this. They did not expect Main Street to be wall to wall, bumper to bumper with vehicles. And they did not expect every business along Main Street to have patriots and people of the community standing shoulder to shoulder in front of all the businesses, standing together with firearms. That's right. Everybody had either a pistol on their hip or a rifle in their hand. Everybody. And the police department, the sheriff's department also had snipers on basically on every rooftop that they can surrounding the courthouse. There were snipers on the library. There were snipers on the courthouse. There were snipers on the hospital, which is right next door. Across the street, you got medical professional buildings. There were snipers on that. You got lawyers' offices across the street. There were snipers on top of that. And all of them was in riot gear. You know, they mind their manners. They really did. And then they turned around and left. Now, what people don't know is this. About 5, 6 o'clock that evening, there was another couple of busloads of people coming from the east, coming to Woodward, Oklahoma. They were stopped by law enforcement. Law enforcement got onto the buses, asked them their business and what they were doing. They said they were coming to Woodward. They were warned, do not come to Woodward, because everybody is armed. Everybody is waiting for them. Now, this wasn't ambush, but this was the love of people for the community, where they grew up, where they live, their love for the businesses. Wasn't going to allow it. Wasn't going to allow it. So they turned around and left. But see, there's stuff like that you don't hear about. Okay? Now, when I say everything is not as it seems, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty obvious. There's all this evidence out there. You've already seen all the evidence. You've seen every footage there is of people dropping pallets off with bats and bricks and all this stuff to create mayhem. Okay? But these folks are getting paid. These folks are getting paid for things. They're getting paid to do this kind of stuff. They don't think they're doing it just for shits and giggles, because they're not. They're getting paid. But yesterday I seen something. It was a major felony. Major felony. And I hope they get everybody involved. They literally broke out the window of Wells Fargo Bank. That is bank robbery. Believe it or not. That's a felony. Major felony. So I wonder if they're going to get them. I wonder if they're going to go get those people. But you know, again, we have a lot of people that's being paid to do this. We have a lot of people that's being paid to create problems. The manifesto for Antifa has come out in an undercover investigation on what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. That has come out by Project Veritas. You know, these people are out to create division. They're out to create problems. Black Lives Matter itself has actually come out with the manifesto of what they are wanting. Okay, I don't know if you guys have heard this yet. They want all police forces gone away with. They want reparations for slavery. Let's touch that one. Let's touch those two. You want police forces completely disbanded in the United States of America. Okay. But wait a minute. When something happens in your neighborhood, how many times have you called the police? You ever been in a wreck? How many times have you called the police? Somebody has stolen something of yours. How many times have you called the police? Somebody's ill. Somebody's hurt. They need to go to the hospital. You call the ambulance, but guess what? The police officers show up too. You want the police to protect your neighborhood. You want the police to protect you and your family. But yet now you're saying you don't want them at all. So Black Lives Matter, are you the ones going to be protecting America? And see, here's another thing. You keep saying Black Lives Matter. I say all lives matter. Everything from the unborn babies being killed every day by Planned Parenthood to myself, my grandkids, my children, my friends, their families, everybody, my loved ones. And here's the thing, Black Lives Matter. Here's the thing. You guys say you strictly stand for black people. Then how come you're not helping out black people? How come you're not helping out the black communities? You're not. There's a lot of businesses being destroyed where these people are riding that are owned by black people. So why are you not helping them clean those businesses up? Why are you not helping them reopen those businesses? And if Black Lives Matter was so prevalent and so intent on what they're meaning, why are you not stopping the riots? Now let's get to the slavery reparations. You demand to have reparations for slavery. Okay. Let me ask you this. How many of you folks in Black Lives Matter actually come from a family where somebody was actually a slave? I do. I'm Irish. I'm Scott Irish. I've done some research on my grandma's side on my dad. My dad's family, my grandma, her family, and back. I did some research on that. And guess what? There were people on my grandmother's family's side that were actually slaves brought to America long before there was any black slaves. So you guys want to talk about reparations for slavery? Don't the Irish deserve reparations for slavery before you do? Because we were slaves long before you. And here's the kicker too. Have you forgotten your history? Have you forgotten who the #1 slave owner was in America at one point in time? Was a black man. Was a black man. Now, see, here's something else too. All right, you guys are demanding to be called African Americans. Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. How many of you were born in Africa? How many of you come from Africa and become an American citizen? I bet none. I bet none of you. When was the last descendant of your family tree that was literally born in Africa? Was it 2 generations ago, 3 generations ago, 4 generations ago? Now, see, myself, I was born in America. I do not say I'm Irish American. I say I'm an American. Whereas you should not say you're African American. You're an American. There should be no creed, no color, no heritage, nothing like that. You're an American. Well, Native Americans, okay? Yes, they're Native Americans. They're Indians, but they're Americans. Okay? Yes, they're Crow, they're Sioux, they're Apache, Cheyenne, Blackfoot, Arapaho, Cree, you name it. But they're still Americans. You Americans. That's all there is to it. You're still an American. You're not an African American because you did not come from Africa. You were not born in Africa. Now, like my brother's son has dual citizenship. He is an American and he's German, but he's German first. Because my little brother married a German gal. When his son was born, he actually automatically got dual citizenship. But he's not a German American. He's German. You see, I'm having problems putting this together and trying to figure this out, okay? It just boggles my mind. Now, here's another thing Black Lives Matter wants. Black Lives Matter, you want free education to go to any school of your choice without having to take any tests, without having to, take all your core, all this stuff, and no payments of any kind. All right. But what about the rest of us? Or are you so special that you cannot live like other Americans? Why is Black Lives Matter trying to deem themselves as the ultimate people? You're not ultimate. Okay? You guys keep saying you don't have what we have, that we're supposed to owe you everything. Why? Why do we owe you everything? I'm still waiting for somebody to explain that, and they can't explain why everybody else owes the black community everything they want. Not everything they need, but everything they want. You know, nobody says you have to live in the slums. Nobody says you have to live in the ghetto. You can make all kinds of excuses. Every excuse in the book. Oh, I can't move out of here. I ain't got the money. Oh, I can't move over here because I don't know anybody. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. You can keep making excuses all you want. But ladies and gentlemen, you can move. You can move with absolutely nothing. All you got to do is start walking, put your stuff in your vehicle, and go until you run out of fuel somewhere. Then you work for somebody for a couple of weeks, get some money under your belt, feed yourself, put fuel in the vehicle, and go again. I know this for a fact because I have done it. I've actually lived in my truck for a full winter when I was between jobs. Yes, that was not fun. Yes, I do not recommend it, but it can be done. Nobody is saying you have to stay where you're at. Nobody's saying that you cannot better yourself. But see, you've become so apparently comfortable living on the system. And you think everybody owes you something. Well, I'm sorry. Nobody owes you a damn thing. You was not put on this beautiful planet of ours, and God did not whisper in your ear, you don't have to do anything because everybody owes you something. Nobody owes you anything. Absolutely nobody. The rest of America is out working our derrieres off. We're working hard, trying to provide for our families and our loved ones, pay our bills, buy groceries, pay our insurance, get a roof over our head and everything else. So can you. Nobody's stopping you from doing that. You know, there's a thing called the School of Hard Knocks. There's also a thing called learning a trade. You can learn if you apply yourself to it. You can do anything you want. I've worked with some great people that came from absolutely some of the worst situations in life there is because they had the desire and the drive to better themselves. But I see what you guys are doing out on the street. And I'm not talking just black people. I'm talking white people too. You guys are out there destroying things. You're out there tearing stuff up. Yes, you should all be held accountable. Every one of you. You should all be held accountable. We got murder going on. We got mayhem. We got destruction of private property, destruction of commercial property. We got busting into banks. We got everything and anything you can think of that is not good going on. And all you guys want is money. Well, trust me, you're earning it the wrong way. You are earning it the wrong way. You know, one of the things I think of too is this. Why not join the military? You guys like fighting so much. All of you men and women out there, you like fighting so much. Why not join the military? Our armed forces could use some people to defend this great country. If you join the military, you might find out that this country is better than what you think it is. But you guys are all saying how much you hate America. Okay, well, here's another thing. Nobody says you have to stay here. Nobody, absolutely nobody, from the president on down to your city council is saying you must stay in America. If you hate America that much, you're free to pack your bags and leave at any given time. Myself, I love this country. I defended this country because I love it so much. Now, Black Lives Matter, you're wanting all this stuff. They're wanting a whole bunch of stuff. Reparations for slavery. You're wanting free education. You're wanting us to give everything. You're even wanting us to give over half of our tax returns to you. Free gratis. You're wanting people to give up their homes and just give them to you. Okay? which means you don't want to earn anything. You don't want to take the pride in working your butt off to go earn something. You just want everything handed to you. Well, that's not right at all. In any stretch of the imagination, it's not right. And see, this is where I'm saying not everything is as it seems. Okay? Everything is completely different. Everything is more different than you can imagine. I got a friend of mine, I just got a message from that person today who works for National Beef. National Beef is a packing business here in the state of Oklahoma, and they're up in Kansas. But this person works over here in the Oklahoma Panhandle, and I was told today they are up 100% full capacity. But yet you keep hearing what? You keep hearing that the packing houses are completely shut down. You can hear that they're not up and going. Well, trust me, they are. This individual's been working there for quite a while. Yes, they shut them down for a little bit, but now they are up and running 100% as of last week. They are at full capacity. They've even hired on more people to handle what's going on. As of last night, they had over 400 trucks show up. 400 trucks. So they're up to capacity, but you're not hearing that. You're not hearing that our packing houses are back to doing what they're supposed to do, providing beef and meat for all of us. You're not hearing that. So therefore, again, everything is not as it seems. All you keep hearing is negative, 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 negative. What about the positive in life? There's so many positives out there, but nobody's hearing anything about them. But, you know, we all have to wonder, okay, now that the riots are starting and everything, what happened to coronavirus? Did it completely disappear? Did it get magically healed overnight? What about the test that you're hearing about? What about all this stuff that you're hearing about that, hey, guess what? Most of those coronavirus tests are false. Most of them are false. Even here in Oklahoma, they're finding out. They give people that coronavirus test, okay? No symptoms, no nothing. Oh, you have coronavirus. What? No, I don't. I feel great. I'm fine. No problem. Well, let's redo the test. Oh, it comes back negative. It says you don't have the coronavirus. Well, there's something wrong with this machine. So they start looking at machines and they start running a test sample and come to find out the machines are messed up. That happened in multiple places in the state of Oklahoma. People they said had the coronavirus, they retest them, and guess what? They don't have the coronavirus. So the numbers are fudged. They're going by saying all this stuff. Just like they were saying all these people were dying of the coronavirus, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is not as it seems. Everything is not as it seems, because I guarantee you what, if the testing kits are coming back and they run the test and they say, yo, you got the virus, but yet you get retested again and it says, oh, no, you don't have the virus. What does that mean? Okay. So it makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder. You know, we have all these people supposedly dying from the coronavirus. It's not happening. Not happening. I would say, well over half those numbers are fudged, because it's a known fact that hospitals got paid more money if somebody was to be diagnosed with coronavirus. So there was no heart attacks. There was no strokes. There was no diabetic comas. There was no anything. Everybody was dying of coronavirus. And I mean every single person. Nobody died of cancer. Nobody died of gunshot wounds. Nobody died of car wrecks. Nobody died of this, that, or the other. Everybody died of the coronavirus. Just so those hospitals could get more money. Well, the funny part about it is now there is a group of people out there investigating this. And they're from the medical profession. And they're starting to find out the truth. The CDC has even come out and revamped what they were saying. Now, I said this earlier in one of my shows, but I don't know about you folks, but if you know anything about a virus, there is no vaccine for it. They tried to beat that into our heads that you had to have a vaccine to fight a virus. There is no such thing as a vaccine for a virus. There is no such thing. Never has been. Antibiotics don't even fight a virus. Antibiotics fight a bacterial infection. So come on. Everything is not as it seems. All right. Now, one of the things that I look at too, I'm looking at all this stuff that's happening today, all this stuff. And it's really making me wonder, what are we missing? What are we missing? Okay. Our president walks to a church that was burned by rioters. They manipulate that and they turn that into propaganda. Okay? That don't make no sense to me. We got people out there who literally say every day, oh, our president this, our president that, he can fix everything. All he's got to do is write an executive order this, executive order that. He can fix it all with the stroke of a pen. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The president can do an executive order, ladies and gentlemen. But before that executive order becomes law and actually becomes part of what's going on, the House of Representatives and the Senate has to vote and approve those executive orders, or they're not law. Yes, he has presidential power to do that. And it can be done. But before they become law, the House of Representatives and the Senate must vote on them and approve them. Then they become law. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Just like any bill, any legislation that's coming along, guess what? Cannot be passed by the Senate or House unless the president himself vetoes it twice. Then they can pass it. You know, we have so much going on. And again, I'm going to say this, not everything is as it seems. Nancy Pelosi and all the Democrats are really pushing for what? Mail-in voting. They want mail-in voting right now so bad. So bad. Because they know they're going to get their butts handed to them. They know they're going to lose these upcoming elections. Nancy Pelosi is going to lose her seat unless she buys it again. But see, they're wanting this mail-in voting because, ladies and gentlemen, they say people can't come together and vote. Oh, wait a minute. You want everybody to wear a mask. You want everybody to keep social distancing apart. You want mail-in voting because other people could get sick. But yet all these riots are okay. Those groups of people out there bumping into each other, rubbing each other, you know, grabbing each other is fine and dandy. You're not worried about social distancing with them folks, are you? No. So what you want to do is mail in votes in order to cheat an election, cheat the American. We have already seen evidence of what that's done. There's people out there already getting multiple mail-in ballots. They've also already found warehouses full of those voting ballots that were not counted. We've already seen the problems arise with voter fraud to this. But see, here's one of the problems. The House of Representatives passed legislation back in the 80s on about voter fraud. And the Republicans can do nothing about it. That law needs to be repealed. Because as it stands right now, you know, everybody keeps talking about voter fraud this, voter fraud that. Well, the Republicans can't do anything about it. Literally, they cannot do anything about it. Because there was a bill introduced and passed when Bill Clinton was president of the United States. Republicans cannot fight or say anything about voter fraud at all. They can't do anything about it because the Republicans signed off on it too. So don't let them fool you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let them fool you. We have so much stuff going on now. And yeah, a lot of it's negative. A lot of it seems like the end of times. We have so much stuff going on, it makes you wonder what's what. So a lot of us, we just go to work every single day. We do our job. We try to come home, have a pleasant evening, visit with our loved ones, visit with family, friends, whatever. Phone calls, video calls, in person, you name it. But every day, all we do is we keep hearing about this stuff going on and all this negativity. You know, all this negativity can be stopped really quick if everybody would do two things. Two things. If you turn off your radio station and you turn off your TVs completely, turn them off, and you limit your time on the internet. Instead of living on the internet 24/7, how about this? How about you get on your internet for maybe 2 hours to look at news, get on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is you're on. Stay on there for only a limited amount of time. Then all the negativity stop, because that's how they keep feeding the masses. That is how they keep feeding the masses. So it makes you wonder what's real and what's not real. You know, I had a discussion with somebody not too long ago, but our president is one person. Our president cannot do everything. Our president is trying to fix things, but he needs our help. Okay. Now, it's pretty amazing how all of a sudden, since these riots start, have you guys noticed that since the rioting has started over this false flag, and that's what this was a false flag. Have you noticed the stock market's coming back up? Have you noticed NASDAQ has come back up? Have you noticed oil prices have come back up? Have you noticed that? Have you noticed how people are getting out and about now? Have you noticed how everything has changed since these riots have started? Have you been paying attention? I have. The Dow Jones is up, NASDAQ up, the S&P is up, oil prices are up. Everybody's coming back. Our packing houses are at 100% capacity again. Things are changing. Things are getting back to the way they are. Oh, and guess what? Businesses are opening up. The Democratic governors are fighting it severely. They don't want them to open back up. You got people like Cuomo that's wanting the federal government to bail out New York State again. You got old whistlebreakers out there in California who's still trying to stop. Gavin Newsom, he's still trying to stop California from opening back up. You got people up in Michigan. That old governor there, she's trying to stop it, but guess what? You cannot stop the American spirit of to get back to work. You cannot stop the American spirit of trying to get our country back up and going. Our president's not the one that's doing it, ladies and gentlemen. We, the people, are. We, the people, are the ones that's out here going every single day to do our job. We are the ones saying enough is enough. It's time for us to get back to work. We, the people, the business owners, are the ones that's opening their business back up. Because all of these governors and all these mayors have overstepped their constitutional rights. They have overstepped your civil liberties. They have overstepped their constitutional authority, whether it be by the state's constitution or the federal constitution. They have overstepped that bound big time. And the American people are tired of it. So guess what? They're saying enough's enough. It's time to go back to work. It's time to start feeding our families. So with that being said, the American people are stepping up to the plate to help out our president. But not everything is as it seems. Not everything is as it seems. There's so many things happening behind the curtain, so to speak. It's like the Wizard of Oz. There's so many things happening back there. We don't know what they are. We never will know what they are. We just see the ramifications of them. It's like Nancy Pelosi really pushing this mail-in vote. It's because she don't want to lose. They want to use voter fraud. It's like Joe Biden. Okay, Joe Biden hid out in his basement, and now he's trying to tell people how bad our president is doing. But yet everything's changing. Everything's turning around. Our economy is starting to come back. There's still a lot of unemployed people right now, but guess what? People are going back to work. My son was actually laid off from the oil field industry. They called him up and said, "You're going back to work starting tomorrow." So yesterday was his first day of work after they furloughed him. I'm glad they called him up and they opening the wells back up. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Our oil industry is back up and going. Therefore, oil prices are back up. See, this whole thing was nothing but a facade. This whole thing was nothing but a false flag. This whole thing was a trial run for socialism and communism, set up by the World Health Organization, the NWO, the New World Order, and by our Democrats in this country. And they succeeded, and they're still succeeding. If you don't believe me, look what's happening on our streets every night in your communities. What's going on? People are burning things. People are destroying things. People are getting attacked. They're hurting animals. People are getting tired of it. Yes, you're going to stand in the road, you're probably going to get run over. You try to stop somebody and jerk them out of their vehicle, you're probably going to get ran over. And in this country, I hope you people have not forgotten, but we have the right to defend ourselves and our property with all justifiable means. Now, what does that mean? I have the right to defend me and mine with all justifiable means. So does that mean I get to use deadly force? If you're trying to kill me, yes. If you're trying to break into my vehicle and jerk me out of my vehicle, how am I supposed to know you're going to shake my hand and say, "Have a good day, I want your truck"? No, you're creating a crime against me and my property. So therefore, I have the right to protect myself and my property. There's a trailer over here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. A gentleman was coming back from a barrel race where his kids were at, running barrels in the rodeo. They tried to stop him. They actually harmed and damaged his truck, his trailer, and hurt 2 horses in the trailer. Is that justifiable means for not protecting yourself? No. Because I guarantee you what, those people will not pay the vet bills on those horses at all. They won't do it. You know, yesterday I seen a deal where a gentleman driving a big truck drove through protesters. He didn't stop. He slowed down, but he didn't stop. He ran over 2 people. Now they're wanting to press charges against him, but they're not going to. All right? If you want to protest something, get out of the street. Don't stop our economy. Why are you wanting to stop our economy? That's another thing, too. You want to stop our economy. You want to stop people from making money, but yet you want everything. Well, if you want everything, it takes currency to get everything you want. So therefore, if there is no working environment at all, how are you going to get your currency to get what you want? Oh, you expect the government to pay you every single thing. It's not how it works. It's not how it works at all. You got to use this for something other than a hat rack, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I see those kids out there with their skateboards and their cornrows in their hair and pants that's hanging halfway down to their knees. I see people out there destroying things. Hell, I even see them. They took down the statue of the Texas Rangers, the most significant law enforcement in America. As far as I'm concerned, the #1 law enforcement agency in America. And they took down the statue because they didn't want it to get harmed. Guarantee you what, you put a bunch of Texas Rangers out there in front of it, and I guarantee it won't get harmed. You know, as I sit here and I look at this and I'm considering everything going on, and I do know this. I'm smarter than your average turnip, but I do know not everything is as it seems. All of this has been planned out, ladies and gentlemen. All of it's been planned out. Look at the new evidence that comes out against all these cops that's involved in this supposed false flag. Their mug shots don't even look like them in real life. Completely different people. Their uniforms were not real uniforms. Badges were not real. Vehicles were not real. Matter of fact, a couple of people that was involved in that ordeal was also involved in a couple other deals that were televised. So yes, it was a false flag. No ifs, ands, buts about it. But they had to have something to change the direction of what they wanted. So now the direction has been changed away from the coronavirus into this. Just so they can try to get Donald Trump out of the office. You know, he comes out and calls people thugs. Well, Barack Obama called people thugs. Joe Biden came out and called people thugs. Nancy Pelosi called people thugs. So why go after him? Why go after one man? Oh, it's because of your hatred for the United States, the president of the Republic of America. Your hatred for him is so dire, it's unreal. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is where people and letting people know that everything you see happening right now is not as it seems. There's so many other things going on. What is going on behind the scenes that you're not seeing right now? Because we know everything is focused on these riots. Okay? Everything is about these riots. But what's going on behind the scenes? What's taking place with the House of Representatives right now? What's happening in the Senate? What's happening in our government? What's happening in the rest of America that you are not being heard about? Because right now, have you noticed that the news medias too are not saying rioters? They're saying protesters. I'm sorry, this is not a protest like when Dr. Martin Luther King did his protest, because they didn't destroy things. They didn't burn things down. This goes back to the day of Rodney King. I mean, you guys remember that? Yeah, I remember Rodney King. I remember those kind of riots. I was visiting with Donna the other day, and Donna mentioned about all the riots when she was a kid in Ohio. So it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what is really going on behind the scenes. You got to think about it. You got to think about it. Okay? So I thought I'd take a little bit while I was here this morning. Come on here and say thank you. God bless you. God bless the Republic of America. And the last thing I got to say is this. If you sit on a wooden fence too long, you're going to get a splinter in your butt. So get off the fence. I don't care which side, one side or the other. Get off the fence. Put your feet down, pull those splinters out, and go forward. Don't ever go backwards. Because you go backwards, you will never get anywhere. You always, always, always got to go forwards. All right? Love you guys. Talk to you later. Y'all have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Well, y'all be blessed.